Pinan Sandan is no exception. Okay, so when you're in your yoi position, which we've talked about in previous videos, where your legs are slightly bent, your feet are shoulder width apart. Okay, you don't want to have your legs locked out. Okay, we've spoken about this in other videos, and it's the same with Pinan Sandan. So once you figure that out, feet on a 45, legs bent, hands, you're making a fist with both hands like so, resting them sort of in and around this area, just below the belt buckle and about a fist distance apart for the fists. Okay, and again, you're not super tense here. Okay, but you're also not like wet laundry. Okay, you're sort of holding the shape, but you're relaxed and you're ready to move. Okay, so the very first move, you're going to end up in a chudan uke facing to your left. So you're going to be stepping out with the right foot. And the important thing to do here is, as you're stepping, you want to make sure that you're turning that foot. Okay, so you're looking in the direction that you're about to move. You're looking as you're looking, your leg, you're sort of shifting your weight over to your left side because you need to move that right foot into position. Okay, and as you're doing that, as if there wasn't enough going on, you're also getting into a cover position for the chudan uke. So you're looking, you're shifting. You can see my weight is shifting over here as I'm looking, and my hands start to come up. Right, my heel is off the ground here. Okay, and I'm looking in the direction that I'm blocking. Okay, so once again, you're here, you're looking, covering, and shifting your weight. Right, so it's okay, and for a middle block, the cover position generally is like so. Okay, you'll see other sort of schools of Matsubayashi-ryu or even other schools of Okinawan Kata in general, where they're sort of doing their low block in this position as opposed to this position. Either way is technically correct. It really just depends on who you learn from. I know that my instructor Hachi Ota, he performs his middle block like so. Okay, so just following along. So I'm stepping, boom. Now right from here, you're going to be stepping up. I'm going to do it from this direction. So I'm in this stance right here. Okay, my shoulders on a 45-degree angle, and then I'm going to be stepping up and sort of. If you know Fugarichi and Fugari, how your heels are together and your feet are on a 45, that's kind of what you're doing here. You're stepping up. See how my feet here are together, okay? So I'm going from a Nahanchi Dachi, or Nikuashi stance, up into this stance here with my feet on a 45-degree angle, as you can see, okay? But I'm maintaining flex in my legs. I'm not sort of hyperextending my knees, right? I never want to do that. I always want to have sort of an athletic flex in my legs. So I'm stepping up. As I do this, I'm going to be coming into this position right here. So it's a middle block position, okay? And the right hand is going to be performing the middle block, and at the same time, the left hand is going to be performing sort of a geidan uke or a low block. You're sort of doing both of these at the same time, okay? So I'm coming up. 1, right? Now I'm switching hands. So now the left hand, which was just did the low block, is going to switch into position here, right? Okay, so from the beginning, looks a little bit like this. I'm in my yoi position. I look as I'm, again, boom, stepping up, boom, cover, boom. Okay, now I'm going to turn in the opposite direction, and I'm going to do exactly the same thing. This is a pretty big turn, so you want to make sure you are doing it properly. Boom. Okay, from here, my left foot is going to pass in front of my right foot, like this. Okay, and the reason why is because I want to be able to spin right? I want to be able to spin quickly into my nikwashi stance facing the other direction. So I'm here, boom, right? Legs again slightly bent, heels together, right? So I'm stepping across, and I'm looking right. I'm looking because I'm going to be going the other way. So it's like, right, and coming up into the cover position at the same time. So looking, covering, stepping in front, right? And I'm looking, and now this direction. Okay, again, my shoulders are on a 45-degree angle. My belt of my belt buckle is sort of going off on a 45-degree angle because I'm in a nikwashi stance. I'm not squared up. Okay, I'm more bladed. They call this bladed, like this. Okay, I'm gonna do it this way so you can see. Right. So, boom, boom. Left leg, or pardon me, right leg, stepping across as I'm looking. Right. Right. See. Stepping across, looking. And now I'm stepping up into that same stance with my feet, my heels together. The left hand is doing the low block, right? And now the left hand is doing the middle block. Okay. Now, from there, you're going to be turning once again. Lots of turns in this kata. Okay, so just a quick review. So from the top, you're sort of here like this, heel off the ground, stepping up, boom, boom, looking, stepping across, right, turning, right, stepping up, boom, boom. Now, my right foot is stepping out because I'm going to be going back up towards the front, or towards the direction that I was facing when I was in yoi position. So from here, you're looking, and it's the same block. Boom, boom. Okay? Now, I'm going to step up and I'm going to do a nukate, which is an open-handed strike, and I'm going to be doing it with the right hand. So, really important here to keep yourself loaded on that right side. Right? You're not going to step up. You're not going to step up and square your waist and then load and fire, right? You're going to come up already loaded. So it's like, okay? So from here, stepping up, right? And again, athletic bend in the stance. Okay, your techniques are coming from your core muscles, your glutes, your abs, okay, your legs, right down into the ground. Okay, the arms and the shoulders are certainly involved, but they follow the lead of your core. Okay, whatever end position they end up being in, you can do anything. Obviously, block, punch, strike here, there, up, down, middle, high, low. Okay, but the core is what drives the technique. Okay, just going to back up a little bit. The next technique, there's a lot going on. Okay, we're gonna walk through it step by step. Okay, basically, it looks a little bit like this. I'll just do it quickly. So you come through, right? You come through, get that head around. Boom. Okay, but what's happening there? Well, basically, there's a bunch of different bunkais that you can do for this technique. I'll just sort of pick one that I'm familiar with. Okay, you've just nukateed someone. Okay, and now imagine you're sort of grabbing their arm. Maybe they did a punch that you skied out of the way with your nukate, and now you're sort of grabbing their arm. Okay, right? That's why they bring the hand up in this. As you bring, and you're bringing the hand up just above your head, just up about this high. You can see we got about the same elevation or the same height as my head, roughly. Okay. As this is happening, your right foot, which is in the lead position, is going to be stepping across, and the reason why is this very important. Okay, if you don't step across, and I execute that big turn right from this position, I have to step around my leg, like I have to pivot around my center because my center stays sort of in the middle of the technique. So I end up pivoting, right? I come through, and then often you'll see people with their punches now off in the wrong direction. They should be straight ahead, but because they've had to sort of step around themselves, they end up sort of off on the wrong direction slightly. So the way around that is when you go to do this, as your hand is coming up, bring your foot across your center, right? So now I can pivot when I now pivot on that right leg, which is the same as what I was doing. If I didn't move it over, I'm always pivoting on that right leg. Bring it up, I pivot, right? Big pivot happening. But if you step off to the side, when you pivot, now it's easier to step through yourself, and you're sort of doing that punch off in the right direction as opposed to being off to the side. Okay, so that's a pretty nifty little trick. Hopefully you guys can take advantage of that. Okay, so here we are, right? Hand comes up as I step across, and as I do this turn, I'm dropping down. Okay, I'm kind of corkscrewing down. I start up in natural stance. Okay, as I pivot my foot, now you can see my leg is bent here. Okay, I'm no longer in an upright position. I'm starting to come down. I'm in a full jigutai stance as I rotate around. Here's a bit of advice. A lot of people, they get a little bit confused, or they're unsure about that punch that they execute after you do your turn. Okay, so you'll see people are here, they're doing everything's great, they're stepping over, dropping their weight, they're looking, they're coming through, and then they get to this position. My target is here, and sort of off in this direction, but look at my reaction arm. My reaction arm is chambered so that a punch is going to go off in this direction, right? So you'll often see people, because they know the punch needs to be off in this direction, they come through, and then they just right from here, they kind of jam their arm out like this. Okay? Really what you want to do is you want to rotate your torso around so that you can execute the punch with your body and your torque and your hip and everything behind it, as opposed to just, there's a big difference between flicking the arm out to the side like this and rotating and throwing it out that way. Okay, so we're here, right, looking, I over rotate here. See, I'm here now. Hand is still up above the head. I'm in my jigutai stance, right? I'm here. And now you can see my fist, I'm chambered, and I've rotated so that my fist is now pointing at my target. So now I can snap it out this way, as opposed to just being here and flipping it out to the side. So make sure when you come around, you almost feels like you're rotating too much, but you're not, you're chambering here. Okay? And then from here, you're gonna turn the left foot, because you're about to go up now into a natural stance position. So you're here. Next technique, you turn your foot, you simply step, I'm just gonna step back a little bit. You simply step up, loading on the right side, because you're about to punch with the right foot, or right fist, punch. And that's where your ki is. All right, so you're down here, just executed this, turning that foot, the left foot forward, stepping, but holding this chambered. See, I'm not squaring and then coming up, rotating and punching. I'm already rotated from here. You see? So I come up, boom. Okay, and then the next position is a kamae position, where you kind of turn around and you're sort of standing like so. I'll show you this, okay? So you come in, boom, boom, stepping across, right? You're going to turn and face the other direction now. So boom, and as you do that, you bring your hands to your waist, but you have both hands are in a fist position. You see? And they're just sitting and resting on the hip, on the waist. Okay? So I'll just do that facing this direction. I stepped up. I did my middle punch. Hi, I ki-eyed. Now I'm stepping and looking, right? Looking, right? Hold the arm out until you start to move the left foot. So it's like so. And this is a kama position, sort of ready, another sort of just ready position that you're in, okay? Let's continue. Okay. You're going to be doing a series of jigutai stances with Urakens. And the Uraken sort of comes out, and you're aiming at the height of sort of your own nose. And it comes, as opposed to a punch, which sort of comes straight out, you're kind of like smashing down on the nose. Boom. Okay, and it's accompanied by a wing block, and we'll sort of go over that as we're doing this. Okay, so first of all, you're standing here. You're in your yoi position or your kamae position. Okay, eyes forward. Okay, because your target is forward. You're going to be stepping down into a jigutai. So as you step, you're sort of dropping your height starts to drop. Right? See? I'm upright here. Of course, a flex in the leg. But as I step, I start to dip, start to sink. Okay? And keep your waist facing forward, because the block is going to be this way, right? So you want to keep it bound here. You have the tension here so that, right, you can whip it around and do the block. Okay, and the block looks a little bit like this, nice and slow. So I'm here, stepping into jigutai. Boom, come past your center. My center would be like right here. I'll come past it slightly. Okay, because you need to block, you need to deflect whatever technique is incoming. You need to deflect it out of the way by just passing slightly over center, but not too far. Okay, sometimes you'll see people really over exaggerate this, and they'll sort of be kind of like in this position. Okay, there's no need of that. The block happens here. Once it's deflected off, there's no point in over rotating. Okay, so try not to over rotate on that when you're stepping through. Okay, so here we go. So I'm in here, right? Stepping, right, as I'm dropping my weight, stepping as I'm dropping my weight. My weight shifts slightly over onto my left because I need to step out with my right foot, right? So I kind of lean into my left side a bit, leaning in as I'm sinking, right? And as the foot starts to come out. This is all sort of happening in concert. Okay? So eyes forward, and then as soon as that right foot touches, when you do the step out, that's when you engage your core, right? So it's like, right? Eyes still looking at the target. And then right from here, Uraken, right onto the sort of bridge of the nose area, and then back. Okay? Now you're going to do another one. You're here. Turn the right foot now to get out of the way of your own center. If you don't turn that now, this is incredibly awkward. You can't really do this. So I've just done the Uraken. Turn my right foot, stepping, keeping this tension here, right? I'm not giving it early, right? I'm keeping it so that when the foot touches, boom. Did that X block, right? Boom, Uraken. And then for those two Urakens, the hand comes back to the position it was in when you started. And that position is exactly the same as what it was when you were in this position. So this rotation of the hands here, where your thumbs are kind of, the thumb knuckle is kind of pointed up towards your armpit. That is the same with every iteration that we're doing here. So I step through, boom, Uraken, it goes back to that position. See, I step through again, boom, Uraken, it comes back again into that position with the thumb knuckle pointing up towards the armpit. On the third iteration, it's no longer an Uraken. You're now doing a middle block. Okay, so from here, turning that left foot now, stepping through, same wing block. We call it a wing block because you're blocking sort of with the bicep area, right? Stepping through, boom. Now right from here, see, I've just passed my center. This would be not past This is just past center. I come into a middle block position, just like this, right? The right hand is going to be the middle block. Okay? And then from here, I'm stepping into a middle punch. So I'm here, right? Turning that right foot now to get out of my own way. Stepping up, boom. Okay? Now, this is the end, essentially, of the kata. There's a lot of big turns happening here, and it's important that you understand how to do them properly. So from here, the finished position is going to look like this. You come around, and you're doing this elbow, okay? Boom, boom. Turn back. Zenkutsudachi stance. And then I simply shift my weight from my front leg. Ooh, I'm on a major angle here on the beach. From my front to back, okay? And as I'm doing this, I'm looking at my target, right? Boom. Okay, let's do it again, nice and slow. A lot going on here with the feet, okay? First thing you're doing, you just did this punch, right? First thing you're doing is just taking a natural step. Now, look at your foot. It's facing straight to the back. You're going to be turning it so that it's on a 45 degree. You're going to be turning it counterclockwise, so your heel points off at a 45 degree angle, okay? And then essentially from there, all you're doing is you're stepping back into a Zenkutsudachi stance. So you were here, right? I step forward, boom, turn, stepping back now with the left leg into Zenkutsudachi stance, right? And then looking, and then shifting all of my weight back onto my left leg, okay? Let's try it again. So you're here. Okay. Stepping up, turning, stepping back, looking. Okay, you'll see that this is what it looks like. Okay, if I just get into position here. So you were here, I just slip back, boom. Okay. There's a lot of different bunkais. Okay, people get really creative with bunkais, and I think it's great because you know there's a limitless combinations and things that you can do. Okay. Things that I see often that maybe sort of aren't ideal in my opinion. Hey, not to say that they don't work or they couldn't work or it's not proper or whatever, but people will do the elbow and then they'll sort of treat this almost like a punch in the face, like you sort of elbowed and you've also punched. Okay, certainly not impossible. Certainly not impossible. Okay. I treat it more as a guard, right? So here I'm protecting my the front of my body from I don't know whatever, who knows? You're just in a guarded position, right? The punch, doing it as a punch, like I said, yeah, sure, okay, certainly. I'd prefer to just approach it though from a guard position, okay? Now, you're gonna step forward, right? So I'm here, boom. See what I've done there? I'm moving forward into a nigowashi on a 45-degree angle now with my other foot as the lead foot. So right now my right foot is the lead foot. I've executed my elbow, my empe here. Okay. I shift the front foot forward just a little bit, just really enough. You're really just kind of putting the heel down because now you're transferring the weight over to it, right? So I'm transferring the weight. See, now I'm in an nigowashi facing the other way. I'm wound still because now I'm about to do an empe with this hand, right? So it's like, right? So you're here, right? Drop the foot, shift the weight over as you're looking, right? I'm shifting and looking here, looking at my new target here. Boom. Okay, I'll just back up here, because from here, you're gonna step forward into the yoi position. So you look forward, you take a little step forward and up. And then you're back in your yoi position. Okay, I'll do a really small demonstration, nice and slow, just so you can see how it kind of all ties together. And please excuse the terrain here. I'm on a massive incline on the beach, but I'm having a great time, so I love it. Okay, so from the yoi position, nice and relaxed, right? Feet shoulder width apart. I'll talk as I'm going. Looking, shifting, and covering, right? Boom. Heel off the ground. Stepping up, putting my heels together, just like a fuya de ichi yoi stance, with my feet 45 degrees apart. Covering, left hand low block. Covering. Now the right hand is doing a low block. Now my left foot is stepping across my body so that I can pivot, look, and cover. Boom. Stepping up now. Covering, right hand middle block. Covering. Left hand middle block, now right hand middle block. Right? Looking towards the front. Covering. Stepping forward. I'll just alter my step a little bit so I don't get out of the frame here. Nukete. Boom. Up. Hand comes up. Remember, it's like a grab as I'm stepping across. Boom. Pivoting the foot so I step through. Looking. Over. Rotate. Punch. Okay. Nice and easy. Doing it nice and easy. Rotating the left foot. Stepping through with the right foot. Kiai. Hai. Stepping across, rotating, boom, kamai position. Stepping out now with the right foot into jigutai stance, doing a wing block as I'm dropping, favoring the left side because I got to step out with the right side, keeping my hips torqued here. Boom, Uraken, boom, right? Turning the right foot to get out of my own way here so I can pass through. Boom, Uraken, right? Doing one final here. You can see how uneven the gravel here is. It's crazy. Stepping through, turning the left foot here so I can step through with my right foot. Boom, right? Boom, cover, middle block. Stepping through, right? Punch, nice. Okay. Now for the big moves at the back, at the end, okay? Just stepping through, right, with the right foot, and then pivoting the right foot so the heel is on a 45-degree angle out there. Stepping back into jigutai and looking, shifting my weight back, empe. Right foot now steps forward, because I'm now shifting my weight onto my right foot so I can put my left foot out. I'm in jigutai now facing this direction. You can see my hips should be over here, but they're over here because I haven't unloaded the elbow yet. So it's like, now the elbow has been unloaded, right? And then you step up. And name. I hope that was a lot of fun. It was for me, certainly doing it on this rocky, uneven landscape makes for interesting kata. If you have any questions, please let me know. Leave it at the bottom. I'll get back to you. And we'll see you on the next one. I'm going to go enjoy the beach. Take care.